Good evening, guys. This is Leffen, and I'm going to be doing another video for you. And this video is going to center around epic monsters, what you need in order to fight them, and what you don't need in order to fight them. Also, I'm going to be going over different bonuses that are built into the game all throughout that helps your city basically become more productive. So if you're thinking like, oh, I got to make sure that I level up this, lumber mill in order to be able to get to where I have enough wood, that's not necessarily true. And so I'm going to be showing you like all the different aspects that they built into it in order to make that measly level 14 or whatever level, lumber mill that you might have, or, actually go through and give you exactly what you do need for the city. All right, so Epic Monsters, the very first part. Every single day that they have a new event with an epic monster, they will usually post a new sale that is going to be around about $250. So for this one, we have it to where we have riders. We have like, I think this guy's a rider, this guy's a melee, and then we also have a archer slash ranged unit. I think he's more like a hunter or whatever with a rifle. And then we also have our battle griffin type of, they're called Warrigal or whatever. I don't know. But those are mainly used for attacking cities and having it to where you're knocking out the city's defenses or whatever. So even though this is a very good sale, only certain parts of it are really going to be used when we're talking about the epic monster. Now, you can send the other guys in and everything, but they might not do the most amount of good in order to help you out. So I'm going to show you exactly what you need, what you don't need, all the bonuses that go into your fight against an epic, and then all the bonuses that go into every other part of your city. That's mainly what this video is about. All right, so let's take a look at everything. So I'm not going to go through and buy any more mercs because I already have a ton of mercs. So looking at my city, right? I have everything nicely developed. And the first thing that you ever do whenever you log in is go through and check your clan. If you have to go through and help somebody, then help them out. Right now, I have my help stuff working. I have my guardsman training costs going on. I also have my Tar workshop going through and upgrading. And it's always good to check that out. I usually use it as like a good idea as far as, okay, is it time in order to upgrade them? Because like if I have it to where I'm looking at the amount of help that I've gotten, and I'm roundabout up in this area, like 2/3, 3/4 of the way, chances are you're not going to get very many more. I mean, you could wait till you get 45 out of 45, or you could just be like, you know what, I'm going to suck it up and I'm just going to spend a little bit of extra speed ups. Now, if it's something to where it has a massive time to it, then you want to go through and maximize this as much as you possibly can. But if it's something like an easy building or whatever, don't worry about it. Just, go through and upgrade it. So we're going to ignore that for now, and we're just going to go right into what exactly is needed for an epic monster. First off, what captain you need. Okay, so in previous videos I've talked about for epic monsters, the best one to have is Hercules. Now right now I have Hera, she's gathering resources for me. I have, and usually it's Straw Orb, but I had just, thrown her on out there. And I have her equipped with enough stuff that she does a pretty good job of gathering resources. Plus, I set, like, the amount of time that's going to take her is going to be to where I don't have to wake up during the middle of the night in order to go through and readjust her. So it's kind of nice because Straw Orb, it would be like, oh, I got to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Helen and I can wake up at 7 and just be like, oh, I'm good. All right, so first thing, I need a captain that can actually do this. Now, even though I already have construction working on the upgrade, and Aurora is supposed to speed up construction, once you set the timer for the construction and everything, unless you're actually going to go through and wait the 88 days or however long it is in order for that to upgrade, once you set it, you can always go through and utilize this captain spot in another way. So I usually like, I'll set it and then be like, okay, I'm going to go take that, Aurora out and I'm going to go put somebody else in. So I'm going to go through and switch her out. And I'm going to put in Hercules because Hercules is nicely equipped for fighting epic monsters. Remember, every single level that Hercules has is an extra 2% strength towards your entire army that is going to be fighting an epic monster. So at this point and everything, He is the perfect fighter for me. He's at level 216. That's 432%. That is awesome. Okay, so now that we have the right captain, now we have to look at the bonuses that go into fighting an epic monster. Now, for those of you that have put the extra effort in and everything, there is a few aspects. Number one, your VIP status. As long as your VIP is going, right now I have 3 days and 17 hours left on my VIP. That's great. Because looking down here, my army strength is added another 18%. My army health, another 18%. This is a huge amount when it comes down to it, because that's like an extra 1 in 5 guys does not die because of the fact that they are a little bit higher up. So therefore, very well worth it. So the very first thing you need to check on is whether or not you have VIP status. I would highly recommend for anybody playing this game, you always have VIP status going. It doesn't cost very much, or you've bought enough packages that you should already have it, or you've got it in enough gifts from the triumphal gifts that your clan gives you. For those of you that are like, well, wait, what are you talking about? Going down here, going to your gifts. There is gifts, and then there's triumphal gifts. When I'm over on the Beowulf side, I had one time to where the MMM clan had over 80 triumphal gifts. That means a lot of people are spending a lot of money. My clan does not spend as much, which is fine. You know, they're limited means or whatever, but they try their best. They do a lot of crypts and everything, so I'll get a lot of gifts, but I will not get triumphal gifts. But you will see the VIP stuff in the triumphal gifts in order to be able to go through and add it to your army. So first off, is VIP activated? Got it, good. Next one. Over here to the right-hand side, if you're playing on the computer, if you're playing, with your cell phone, which I usually play with my cell phone, I have it to where it's on the left-hand side of my screen. So then I'm going to click on the plus, and the plus is basically going to be every single thing as far as that helps my either personal, clan, whatever. I only worry about my personal one. So right now I have a food shortage in the city. That's not that bad of a thing. It's only 3%. It's not that bad. My experience points, it doesn't have an active bonus. So I want to make sure that I add my active bonus into it. So I could go through and use some of these. This is a 7-day one. I didn't buy this. I got it for free as part of other stuff. Whether or not it was from somebody else or whether or not it was from a package that I'd gotten, might as well make sure I have it. But make sure that before you ever go into battle, all of this is activated. Whether or not you got plus 100% on XP, plus 100% on Valor points, plus 100% on Conquest points, Army Strength up 25%, Army Health up 25%, and your marching bonus is usually, like they sell these, and I've gotten so many of these for free that I haven't even paid for them. And so my marching speed is up 50% on average. These things right here, leadership required, authority required, and dominance required, cost so much money. Don't worry about whether or not you have them or not. I'm currently using food consumption because I have a huge amount of mercs and monsters that are in my city. So this is used in order to lower the amount of food that is currently being used by them. It takes away about 25% of it, which is the difference in between, I have to go through and spend a lot of money or a lot more, food on, trying to make these armies, or I don't know if it adds to the cost in silver. I think it does. I could be wrong, but don't quote me on that. Resource gathering, all this other kind of stuff. These are some of the bonuses that you need to make sure that are active at all times, especially because they're so darn cheap, or you get them all the time as part of other triumphal gifts from other people, and so you might as well use them. And in order to basically go through and use them, all you do is click on it, and then it will hit kind of like what I did with the XP. Do the exact same thing for these. Make sure you always have them up and going. You'd be amazed what you've gotten already, and you didn't even realize it. A lot of people, they just get gifts and they just click through them. But if you have it, use it. The other thing that I make sure that is always going at all times whenever I'm about to go into battle is this. This is the premium part. So premium, it costs $4.99 a week. I use it just because I love to constantly be flipping back and forth in between or whatever. So right now I'm under Great Ruler, which gives me a 75% construction bonus speed to my construction bonus. I also have 75% to research, and I also have 200% to my production of building resources. So lumber, stone, and also iron. Those three are being made twice as fast as they usually are, or actually 4 times as fast. I don't know. I'm bad at math. But this is huge in order to make sure that is going at all times whenever you're not fighting battles. Whenever you're not fighting battle, make sure Great Ruler is going. If you're going to be doing a lot of crypts and a lot of there's a crypt competition or a tournament that they usually do. If you're doing a lot of crypts, then make sure that the Great Archaeologist is done. Or if you're trying to go through and raid the epics in order to get certain types of materials, then this would be a good thing to make sure that you have going on. Finally, the Great Marshal. I like to have this going whenever I'm about to fight. So I'm going to activate it. That's going to make it to where at this point, I will be doing 25% more strength, 25% more health, and then I also get more food and also more silver. So that will go through and shut up this certain part up here where it's just like, oh, well, you have it to where, like, look at this. You have how much I'm currently making per hour, which is 445,000. And granted, it's not actually that with my farms, but all the bonuses that go into it, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, that's where that comes into play. I might be only making 100,000 an hour, but because of all my bonuses that I have, then it gets up to 445,000 an hour. So I'll go into those in a little bit. So now, right, we have it to where the premium is activated. We have our VIP activated up here, right? I'll tilt it, sorry. We have our VIP activated up here. And then we also have the correct captain that we want selected. So now I'm going to go on over to the side where we have our tournament aspect going. And I'm going to click on Doomsday. Now, Doomsday is kind of interesting because with Doomsday, you get to earn this blue liquid stuff. I'm sure it has a name. Oh, Essence of the Immortals. Ooh. And then when you're going through and using this stuff, it is used to level up your captains, star-wise. Not for their base level. I'm talking about their star level. It's different. So with that, right, now because of the fact that Doomsday, he offers that out, he also offers out these scrolls, which are used for the Triumphal Challenge or whatever. Currently, I'm in 3rd place. I would like to be able to take in 2nd place. The 1st place guy has kind of outdistanced me, but myself and the 2nd place person are neck and neck, and we only have like 15 hours left, so I got to do a last-minute push for that. But you can see as you go down, you have a little bit more that offers, but it's to where there's a jump in between. So this has 740,000, but then it goes all the way up to 1.2 million, 1.23 million, which is a bigger jump in order to get that last bit. So if you really need Essence of the Immortals, then Doomsday is a great way in order to go through and get it. But if you do not need Essence of the Immortals and you're just doing Triumphal, then this would be about where you stop. And that's probably where I'm going to go to because I have enough for now. And even if I wanted more, I'm like, I only have so much gold. I don't want to waste it, whatever. All right, so now at this point, we're ready to go. So we're going to go through and click into this, and we're going to hit the go button. Whenever you click go, it's going to take you to where exactly the Doomsday guy is. And this is the one that when you were looking originally at your city, I'll just quickly flip back to it for you guys. In your city, up here in the corner, there was this like thing to where you get to go to that alternate land and all that. And then in this alternate land, the guy is like, you get to the end of the path where you had to go left or go right. And it tells you like, or it will be like plus 45 or plus 30 or times 2 or plus 29, whatever the heck. And then you get to the end and there's that guy with the wings and he's like, you shall not pass. And then you go through and you kill his butt. He's like, you got lucky this time. You'll never get, my chests again, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the overall thing that you do for that, like this part with the path and all, is where that guy disappears and he basically says, if you see me in the real world, let's see if you're actually willing to take me on. So I'm going to go through and take him on because, well, I want, to show you guys how to do this. Plus, I would like to actually end up second in that one triumphal tournament thing. All right, so we're going to hit go. Now we get to the point to where we see our big, huge, like monster and everything. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this better. Notice how when you're looking around him, different people from different clans are going to put in their portals. If it's a portal from an enemy clan, it'll show up as red. If it's from your clan, it'll show up as blue. Having two portals in the exact same area, obviously somebody that was going from my clan that was putting them in did not see the other one and be like, oh, we already have one, I'm good. And they put in another one. So it's like, oh, well. I try and have it to where I make sure that it's vertical in alignment, because if it's off to the side, some people, they have it zoomed in so much that they don't see the one off to the side. Like here's one of my clan members that's going to go walking on in to try and fight this guy. All right, now in order to fight an epic monster, I'm going to show you exactly what you need army-wise in order to know what you should be using, what you should not be using. And for this, I'm also going to go through and do a very taboo thing. And I'm going to have to recall Helen, because with currently, I think she has a bunch of my spearmen with her, which I need spearmen for this fight. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to recall my army. And then I'm going to speed her up because I definitely need this quicker. And I don't want anybody going through and taking my stuff. It's set off to the side and everything, but it's like, I would like to keep it. And I'm also going to make sure that I put this teleport back in there. One of my other clan members had one, and so I positioned it right there. Oh, no, not that. Not teleport. I'm sorry. Open portal. Duh. Sorry, everybody makes a blonde, moment. All right, so we got that going. Now that she's back, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to capture this. And when I do that, I'm going to send her with my archers. The reason why you do archers are useless when it comes down to epic monsters. I mean, they do a little bit of good, but they mainly just die. And so it's like, why go through and kill these guys off? Might as well. All right, so we only need 19 seconds. I always make sure that I watch just to see whether or not she actually got there, or my captain actually got there, in case anybody else tries to swoop on in, because then I'll bring the rest of my army on over there in order to go attack them. One is on our, blue area, and two, if one of my clan members accidentally took it, then I'll have to go into the chat and basically be like, hey, can you get the heck out of my thing? Granted, most of the time people ask, like, is this somebody's, before they go through and they take it. All right, so now that we have my spearmen back, I'm going to go back to this monster. Going back, hit go. Okay, we're back on him. All right, now for this, let me show you what you need. So we're going to go through and hit attack. And it has this whole entire explanation, like, send your army to fight the epic monster squad and get additional valor and experience points. It also has in the explanation, when you originally look at the event, where it says, do not expect to win. Anytime you ever fight an epic monster, you will not win. I seriously doubt that there's anybody that can do it, but if they can beat one of these epic monsters, then chances are they're one of the top 5 players in the world, and their army is so ridiculous that, they don't even need to get valor at this point. They just love to kill things. So for this, just expect to lose all your guys and that you'll have to revive them. All right, so now we're going to do attack. I'm going to send Hercules. Remember, Hercules, whenever you're fighting an epic monster, don't forget. So then when you're going through and trying to attack, one thing that you got to make sure, one is when you attack an epic, you're going to gain food for your dragon. So I'm going to click on my dragon and try and make sure that he has all the food that he needs. I think I did that wrong. Granted, I'm not used to going through and clicking on it this way. Dragon itself, maybe. No. When I'm playing on my phone, when I click on it this way, it allows me to feed my dragon or whatever. So let's just say that my dragon's already fed and I've already used up all the food that he has. Okay, now, when you're selecting what goes and what doesn't go, some people just hit select all or whatever and just send them, which is fine and everything. But what you want to do is you want to be selective as to who you're sending. So let's say, for instance, I click on this guy. This guy is a flyer, and flyers are usually not good against epic monsters. So it says like all this revival cost, what it'll cost in gold, what it'll cost in silver, blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of these things, when you're defending, it'll have it to where you revive them with silver. When you're attacking, it'll have it to where you revive them with gold. So with a flyer, I am not going to pick him. Or her, whatever the heck it is. Elves, mounted unit. Perfect. I'm going to use an elf. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to select all of the elf. For this one right here, it is a cannoneer. It is a ranged unit. I'm not going to use it. You don't use ranged units when it comes down to epics. We got a melee unit. Perfect. Demonic salamander. We have another flyer. I'm not going to use it. Another flyer. Not going to use it. This looks like a cannon, which means that it's ranged, so we're not going to use it. This is an epic monster hunter. If you ever see a sale for an epic monster hunter, this is the best money that you can ever spend because they give you a darn good bit of them. I'm down to 564, but I think I originally started with like 16,000 of these guys. And against epic monsters, they do a phenomenal job. So whenever you can get these guys, it's $49.99 for US, but it's well worth it. It's probably the best sale I've ever done, and I do it a lot. Let's see, human mounted unit, therefore I'm going to pick him. We have this guy. I know that he is another mounted unit, so I'm going to pick him. And after a while, you get used to what mercs are what, and so then you don't have to go through and click on each one and be like, is it this? Is it that? This is a melee unit. I'm going to pick him. And don't get me wrong, mercs are here to die. They're nice to look at and everything, but they're here to die. So you basically can count on them giving you melee unit, use it. You can basically count on them going through and giving you extra valor points behind it. Now, the nice thing is, once you set up your initial attack for the epic monster, every single time that you go through and try and attack again, it already has it pre-saved so that I don't have to look at it and verify. This guy I know is a long-range unit, so no. And this lady is a scout, so I don't need her also. So now at this point, we're going to get into my actual army. Do not send monsters. I have 4 really nice, powerful monsters and everything for level 6, but I am not going to send them. 1, the revival cost is a lot, and 2, you still lose 10% of them, and I don't feel like having to replace them with all the dragon coins. Therefore, don't use them. Don't take the battle griffin. Don't go through and take the catapult or the ballista or trebuchet or whatever the heck they're called. Take the horsemen, the mounted units, and also take the spearmen. And then these guys are a specialist swordsman. The reason why I have it at level 3 is because I try and use all my CP that I do get on army modernization. I will worry about specialists when I'm at such a freakishly high level that I run out of monster boost and out of army modernization in order to spend it on. Then you will see me go through and upgrade my specialists. Until then, I don't care. And they're not worth it. All right, so now we're going through and we're going to start our march. And the other thing is, make sure that you always have your dragon selected. I almost forgot. That would have been stupid. All of our guys look good. Yes, yes. Always make sure that you double check everything. If you're in a rush and you're just going through and clicking, you're going to end up making mistakes, and then you're going to leave something behind, and it's going to really suck. All right, so we start our march. And it's slow, I know, it's horrible, so I'm going to go through and speed it up. I hate watching people march. All right, so now we're down to 15 seconds. Here comes my guy Hercules. He's absolutely awesome. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better. All right, so he does this weird little like whack-a-mole type of thing. Whack! And he usually only gets 2 hits in. And of course here a dragon flies off because he cannot go through and kill it. My captain leveled up, which is awesome. And now he's at level, whatever the heck, huge amount. And see, it adds another 2% to my strength of my army, which is awesome against epic monsters. Okay, so that's cool. Subscribe, don't care. All right, so we did our first attack and everything, and I have every intention of going through and doing it again. The very first thing that I need to do is revive my army. So I'm going to go through and start reviving. And I'm going to show you what I do versus what other people do. So if you have a ton of gold and everything, then yes, you can just go through and hit revive, 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 revive. That works perfectly fine. There's other people to where they're like, oh, I'm not going to revive them with gold. I'm just going to go through and buy more of them. Some people, they do like one hit and then they're like, okay, for that event, I'm good. I usually just use gold. And now I'm trying to get to the point to where my regular army, I will only like basically go through and have to rebuild them the whole entire way. For the purposes of this video, plus because of the fact that I still have a good bit of gold on hand, I'm just going to go through and pay the piper and just spend the gold on it. I know in one video that I was seeing, the guy was like, if you have a chance and later on in the game, just save up a ton of silver. And then whenever you lose like 8,000, mounted guys and 26,000, spearmen, then you could go through and just spend the silver and recreate the army. Yes, I can do that, but it takes a while. And if you're using speed ups and everything and you're really hard off for speed ups, then this is not a good time to be able to use them. It's up to you. Use the gold or use the silver. Either which way, you got to rebuild your army. So I'm just going to pay the gold. All right, so now I can go through and check the status as far as how far I got. And every single time that you ever do an attack in this game against an epic, always go through and take a moment in order to just double check what it did. So I have things that it says like, hey, you would need to pay attention to this, like closing the gap. So I got 5.83 billion, armor fragments out of that, which is pretty good. And then when you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, in order to get all the way through this, I have to do 51 billion armor fragments. So if I did the exact same strength of an attack, and I'm doing the math correctly, that means that I have to do that attack 9 more times in order to get to 51 billion. Now, you start to realize very quickly, like, if I'm doing this event, do I really need to go that far? This is where you have to choose. How far are you willing to go in that event before it gets a little bit silly stupid? If you want to go all the way, go all the way. But then pick your events that you are going to do and pick your events that you're not going to do. Because otherwise, you're going to spend a ton of money. All right, so because I did that and everything, I accomplished some missions. So I'm going to go through and click my missions. Yay, got done that. Complete, 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 complete. Okay, so on this side, on my Valorant side, your Valorant side is always connected to whatever is the epic monster of the day. The regular side will go through and have it to where you will have like, some of them will be connected to the epic monster, like revive a certain amount or do this or do that. Some of them are just mundane things that you just need to do. So I did that. Now let's go through and get into my rewards. So I'm going to click on these things. Coin pack, coin pack, coin pack, whatever. Granted, I've never done it this way. Oh, I got to go hit the claim down here. My bad. Like I said before, I'm used to playing on my phone, not on here. But whatever. All right, so now we went through and addressed that. Then we're going to go through and we're going to figure out what the heck did I do, what the heck did I not do. Now, I got 119,000 of the tournament points from attacking that one time. Now, depending upon your level in the game, it will depend upon like what your goals are will be dependent upon what your level is. So I might have 200,000 for my, second one, but for some people, it might be like, oh, your goal is 10,000 or whatever. You see the difference. Now, from that, I could do the math and I could be like, okay, so if I attacked with that exact same overall power at 119,000 versus the 1.23 million, that means that I have to attack a little over 10 times in order to get all the way down here. I have absolutely no interest in doing that. The other thing was, if I'm looking at how much gold I spent in order to be able to go through and revive my guys after that attack, and I'm going to have to go through and replace the armies that die because 10% of your army dies whenever you're going through and doing revivals, whether or not it's through sacred potions or whether or not it's through gold. I would still have to go through and replace 10% of my troops on every single attack. So your army is going to get worn down very quickly. So what I do is I usually will do 2 or 3 attacks, and then I'll go through and build like 1 or 2 armies. And so this way I keep my armies fresh and get it back up to where it was. And you got to determine like how many armies are you going to send? Are you going to send 10,000 spearmen? And then are you going to send like 5,000 mounted units? That would be an even, amount of basically build for the amount of armies against this guy. I send usually more because I like to just, whop the living crap out of him once and then be like, okay, do I do that again or do I not do that again? Rather than smaller attack, smaller attack. Because every single time that you do a smaller attack or every single time that you do an attack, it degrades your armor. So like the armor that is up here, but we're talking about Hercules because of the fact that he was the one that attacked, that took 1 damage onto each piece of armor that he is wearing. So if you have no problem with going through and replacing your armor all the time, then yes, use a smaller army when you go through an attack. I attack with much bigger armies so that this way I do less damage to my armor overall. You guys see what I'm talking about? You do bigger attacks, you're going to have to revive more guys, but if you do less attacks, then it's not a big deal. And then you also save your armor in the process. This is the difference in between people that are thinking about what they're doing and people that don't think and they just attack. So you got to make sure you think. Okay, so now you guys know basically what to use. You use melee units and you use mounted units. Basically spearmen and mounted horsebacks against this guy. When you're talking about your mercs, only use the mercs that have either melee or mounted. And then when you're talking about your monsters, you do not use them. And then when you revive them, you can either revive with gold if you have enough for the purpose of it. But gold is so darn valuable that it's almost better just to recreate your actual, like, spend the gold on your mercs, but then replace your army with silver if you have enough silver. If you don't have enough silver and you're just stuck with it, then you just have to do gold. And it's just like, oh well. All right, so I've covered that enough so that this way you guys know how to attack a epic monster. And the other thing about it, and I will remind you guys, when you go back into your city, make sure that you go on down and you feed your dragon. So I'm going to go on down. I'm going to feed my dragon. Right now he's level 200 and everything. He gained 10 billion food from that one attack. Now if you're like, oh my gosh, that's so much and everything. Yeah, look how much it did. Not very much. When you get to above 150 and everything, it starts to get really ridiculous how much you have to feed this guy in order for him to actually go to the next level. Like I think it's 20 billion in order to go one level right now. And then it'll be like 22 billion and 25 billion. It'll keep on going up. Okay, now is the other bonuses that play into this game. So if you look at, like, let's say we're looking at this stone cutter right here. So it produces stone. It produces it produces 650 an hour, which is not all that much. Now, what it does in the end result is much more than 650 an hour. So I'm going to show you how to improve that number from 650 all the way up to basically a few thousand. So the very first thing that you need to know is when your hero goes through and levels up. Okay, so this is our talent points and we're looking at our different things. So when we're talking about just our building resources, then you can look under the economy, right? Now they have things in multiple areas, so please watch out for it because you might be like, oh, I went here and not here, but it's like, hey, it's actually in multiple areas, that one part. Okay, so we're going to look at economy when we're just talking about lumber. So we have production of building resources in the city. That is one area to where when you're going through economy, you will see that pop up a few different times. So it goes through and it has the exact same stuff, and then it starts over again with level 2. And as you can see, I've gone through and not really spent a lot on production of building resources in the city. I mainly spend mine on, and I'll remedy that later, but I mainly spend it on food production, like in different areas, and then also research speed. Now, stupid me, this is a research speed, and I've actually not gone through and developed it or anything. Construction speed, I need to do that. Resource gathering on the stage. What I did was I went further down. Now, let me tell you why. Because when you go further down, it makes more of an impact. When it goes to level 2 and level 3 and all that kind of stuff, see how resource gathering is actually done there, but then I don't have it up here? When I start leveling up my captain again, I need to get this up. Same thing with construction, because now when I'm going for level 7, the time is so great, so huge. So now we're going through, and I went down to the end, and you can see that I did resource gathering 20, construction speed 20, research speed 20, food production 20. So this is where they pop up again. So in the tactics area, one thing about when you're fighting, if you're fighting a lot against other people, then you want to concentrate on battle tactics. If you're playing the long game in this game, you want to concentrate on your economy. Your economy is going to basically build your city. And if you have a better city, then you're going to have a better ability in order to fight battles down the line. So now when you're looking at battle tactics, it has it to where there's different stuff in other places. And then it goes all the way across. Once you hit this final one, then it allows you to open up the expert battle tactics. So if you notice, I went further down and didn't master things yet. But then you hit a certain point and it's just like, hey, you can't go to this level until you hit level 105 or 145 or whatever. And I'm pretty sure I actually do have access to this at this point, but I got to start leveling up my hero again, because there's a balance in between hero going ahead of your captains. You usually want your captains to be higher than your hero. If your hero is higher, all of your challenges that it sends you on are going to be more difficult, and your captains aren't going to be able to keep up. So you keep your hero a little bit lower, or keep it lower than your captains, and that allows you to accomplish the different tasks a whole heck of a lot easier. So I haven't developed my hero as much as others. There's some people that they just send their hero as quickly as they can in order to be able to fill up this section. For me, I want to make sure that I have all the other components ready before I fill up this section. But a good idea is to go further in here, and then you work your way backwards. Because when you level these last parts up, they are way more important and way more impactful than if you level up the the stuff that's further up here. So try and have it to where you do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way until you hit a roadblock where it might say oh, you cannot get to this part until you get to level 145 or whatever. And then go back through and be okay, I know that strength of fortifications is worth it. I know this is worth it, and do that. All right, so now that's one area where your stuff pops up with your main hero. The other area where your stuff pops, or where the bonuses are, is your VIP. So we've already gone through VIP before. I'm just going to remind you, it shows up as army strength, march speed, construction speed, gathering speed of all resources on a world map, production of all resources is up 36%. So that one stone mill that was making 650, add 36% to it, and that's how much more it's making now. But there's also other areas. So when you go to your academy, so we're going to research technologies. When you go to your academy and we're talking about building resources, you got to look at your boost. So then we go to economy, and then it has the different resources that it's going through and doing. So we have our stone production. It's maxed right now. And then you go further along and you're going to see stone production again. And again, and again, and again, right? So one of the things that I did was I tried to make sure that my economy was one of the first things that I leveled up. Get your economy completely done. Now, the only thing I haven't done is Secret Potion, because it got ridiculously needy, and I wanted to try and get Guardsman level 6, and so I did sacrifice that for now, but I'll come back to it. My logistics is totally all the way up. my economy is all the way up. My monster boost is working. My army modernization is working because it starts to get really high and really expensive. But then when you look up here, specialists, I haven't really touched it because you don't need them that much. So then you look at monsters. I have that because I wanted monsters to be able to have that extra bonus in order to fight against other players. Monsters make a huge difference. So when you get the chance to actually have monsters at level 5, granted, you can have monsters at level 3, but it's not worth it. Save your monster or your dragon coins for when the monsters are going to be more powerful. I'm on level 6. I don't plan on getting monster level 7 for a very long time. And so therefore, if I have monsters at level 6, then I don't have to upgrade them. I don't have to get them to a different level. I don't have to kill them off and just be like, okay, now I'm going monsters level 7 because there's no bonus to it. So when you're trying to look at your bonuses throughout the city, we have your VIP up at the very top. We have your academy where you research it. We also have your bonuses, and we're looking at the personal ones. These that you need to make sure that you have up. We also have premium. And now that I'm done with my fight and everything, you're only allowed to switch the premium every single 15 minutes. It's been more than 15 minutes. I can put it back onto Great Ruler. Set this way, now I have a plus 200. So I have the 35%. I have the plus 200%. I have also the VIP stuff. I think it's like another 30%. And then I also have the tactics area, which gives me bonuses. All said and told, you need to make sure that your bonuses are always constantly working for you. Do not go into battle without having VIP active. If you get premium, then get the premium. Make sure that your bonuses, this little icon with the first aid symbol, get that too. Or make sure that that's all up to date and that everything is currently active. Whether or not it's experience points or blah, 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 all the way down. Remember, these right here cost too much. Don't worry about that. But make sure that these are also going. So those are the different areas and how to fight an epic monster and also all the bonuses that go into it. I figured they tie together so well that there was no point in trying to keep them like in separate videos or whatever. So make sure that when you guys are attacking those epic level monsters, that you thoroughly prepare for it. Do not rush it. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to click on this and go. You need to send melee and mounted, whether or not it's in mercs or in your regular guys. Do not send monsters, and make sure that your VIP, your premium, your bonuses, and then also your academy is properly researched in order to help support your war effort, especially your army modernization. Your army modernization is going to make it to where when your troops stab and slash, they're going to hack the living crap out of it. That is all for this video, guys. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you have anything that you would like to have me go over that I haven't gone over so far, just know that I'm going to be doing videos pretty darn often and everything. At least at the first part, like probably twice a day or once a day. And then as we go further along, it'll be as needed. And I might even do like that stupid YouTube thing where I start playing and you guys can watch the way that I play so that you can emulate it on your own way. But for right now, I'd rather teach you guys, and then you guys do this on your own. And then if you get to the point to where you're like, I'm still not getting it, let me watch them, then I'll start having those videos where I'm actually playing while, I'm filming or whatever. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. And if you would like to subscribe or comment or anything, please do. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.